going on YouTube? It's CC from Madden Turf, here to bring you guys a mini scheme out of the new near formation that's been brought back into Madden 17. I believe that from what I've seen, the formation so far is in the Kansas City offense and Philadelphia. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over 5 setups here, sort of focused on using the run to open up the pass. So we're actually going to always come out in halfback inside. That way we can access all of the other plays on our audibles extremely well. The audibles we're going to be running over here are fullback dive, post drag, and PA strong flow. So mixed in with this halfback inside, we're going to be able to run this whole little scheme based on what we come out in the huddle with halfback inside. So if you decide to run the ball, once you come out in this, you're going to have to make the decision of whether you want to run halfback inside or the fullback dive. So what you'll see with these two runs, the halfback inside is a very, very fast run, and the fullback dive is essentially one of the perfect complements. But when you're running this halfback inside, be careful to see where your hole is, right? The hole may not necessarily be right in front of you, so you may need to actually kind of cut left a little bit to stay and gain positive yards. Otherwise, if you don't like that, you can audible down to fullback dive. The fullback dive is a very straight ahead run, really designed just to get a couple yards, but there's definitely times that the fullback dive can do very well. And gaining a lot of extra yards that you don't necessarily normally think of a fullback dive getting, but that seems to be true in a lot of Maddens, right? So what we've been going up here against is random defense in practice mode, so the computer is always going to be doing an excellent job sending the house, essentially. So these are our 2 run plays, like I said, just based on the way you see the box and when you see your opponent sort of adjusting, is how you're going to decide which one of the 2 runs you want to run if you decide on a run. Otherwise, we're going to cover your pass plays now. First up is post drag. Now I have 2 setups for this. The first setup is you're going to put the tight end on the line on a baby out, and you're going to put the receiver on the left on a curl. The reason that we do this for the curl is if you happen to notice it's man, you can generally get the curl off with a downward pass lead. Additionally, it doesn't send the receiver really too deep to the point where he may bring a defender back into the area of the crossing post. Otherwise, on the right side of the screen, what we have here is a running back wheel, a post, and a baby out. And this little concept right here is going to allow us to read one part of the field and see if we have which of the 3 receivers is open. So we're not necessarily looking at one particular player. Is the out getting open? Is the post getting open? Is the wheel getting open? We're able to read that little sort of cross section where you see all 3 other routes in like a square. Use that as our sort of indicator to decide which route's going to be open. So I'm just going to run this a few times. This is again random defense, so we're just going to have to make our reads on the fly. And Gresham's a little slow there for this, getting out there on his out. But like I said, if you happen to see man, just like this, downward pass lead the curl, you should be able to get it off, barring any sort of shading that the defense is really doing. Otherwise, you're just going to be sort of making your little read in that area to see where the defenders are actually flowing. So let's go over replay, and let's see exactly what we're looking at. So I look in that general little area, and I see 2 defenders, and we have 3 receivers. So one of them is going to come open. And essentially what I see is the defender, I don't want to call him middle of the field, but that guy right there, he's coming down, leaving the post wide open over the top. So we're just going to bullet pass it in, possession catch it. And if you happen to even have a lane so open as this, and you're a little worried that maybe the safety is going to come down, feel free to, pass lead it down as well. That way you'll get the rolling catch animation. You're not going to get any yards after the catch at that point, but you're moving the ball, right? Perfect? Okay. So let's run that a few more times, just so you guys can really see what's going on. To me, the post is open a lot more than the other routes. The the running back wheel does get open versus some cover two coverages, where he's just going to sort of nest behind the coverage just like that. Perfect timing. Uh, but that's a long time in the pocket. So if you see an open read, take it beforehand. Don't sit there and wait necessarily for a route to get open when you're bypassing guaranteed yards. So that's sort of setup one. We're going to be able to read that side of the field. Setup two is where we are going to simply leave our tight end on his drag, and we're still going to put the receiver on the left on his curl. What we're trying to do with this sort of play is use a route just going to the left side of the field. Say your opponent is overcompensating to the passes on the right. It's just a good little method to be able to attack both sides of the field. Excellent catch by our guard there as we got hit. But this is an excellent method to use. Like I said, this is something I would just be using after seeing a lot of over adjustments, or to maybe necessarily open up the tight ends baby out route on the first setup we had. That's always the key. We got sacked really quickly there, but that's okay. But essentially, that's what we want to do. The last play we have is PA strong flow. And our only adjustment here is we're going to swing the fullback running back right here to the left. What this gives us, essentially, is we have a levels concept on the left side of the field. What I mean by levels, we're making a high-low read, really essentially based on the curl and the swing. And on the right, we have that classic flood. Now, this running back route, he does do a bit of a stutter, so his route isn't as clean as some of the arrow routes or even some other routes in Madden 17. But they'd still do a good job of breaking that sort of separation apart. So, as to where our first setup for post drag, we were sort of attacking the middle deep of the field a lot with that post. On the post drag setup 2, we're beginning to attack the left side of the field. And on this play, we're attacking the left and the right, leaving the middle wide open. We don't have a single route going in between the hashes. So we're just going to run this a few times, and you're just going to have to sort of try and make the read of which side you want to go to pretty quickly. And the way I really do that, in my eyes, is to do as best as possible at looking at both routes coming out of the backfield to see what the coverage is. If I see someone running down to the swing route, and it appears to be man, I know that I can't throw him, and that my only routes that I'm really going to be looking for are the breaking routes or possibly the curl. If I don't see anyone running down to him, I'm assuming that it's probably going to be the similar, unless someone's running sort of a cover 6 or cover 3 cloud, cover 9 now, where one side of the field could have a light blue guarding the flat, and the other side's probably got a deep zone. So let's run it a few times, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So what we were able to do on this exact play, I'm going to go into replay, and we're going to look at both sides of the field. But at the snap, I saw the defender back away from the coverage, knowing at that point that my swing route should be open. So all I'm really doing here, even though I know he's open right here, I'm just buying time for him to get out there so that once I pass it and I rat catch it, I'm able to, get an attempt at hitting the corner. Generally, if one of these two routes is covered, the other one is open unless it's man, right? As we see there, the curl is very covered. There's no way we can throw it, right? Alternatively, on the right side of the field, we see that the running back route, again, is wide open. So we could have thrown that side as well. And just judging by the looks of the coverage, he was probably the only read we had on the right side of the field. Looks like the corner is actually getting covered as well. So let's run it again, just to give you guys an idea, a little more of what I mean. I think this is a very simple concept and something that once you take into practice mode, you'll see it, practice it, learn it, and it's going to be very easy for you to see very quickly, right? And like I said, these aren't big plays, but this is a formation to me that's really designed to create frustration for your opponent. We get sacked there, but this was actually good. Prime example I want to show you guys, and then we'll just look at something one more time. About the stutter on the running back's route on the right. So as he comes up, he's not actually making that clean break to the flat like he does in other plays and other routes. He's coming up a bit first, which in this case bought the defensive line enough time to block Shed, even though he's wide open, and that's exactly where we're going. And again, the left side was open as well. So you really just kind of have to make the determination which side you want to look at first, and then, you know, be willing to do that. So if they run engage 8, that's obviously an easy play for us. But I tend to look left on this first because there's only 2 routes as opposed to 3. So I have a better chance of having a later route opening up on the right side of the field than I do on the left. So just one last time. Very good man coverage there. Strategic pass lead. You know, that's just how it is. But this is the near scheme. Like I said, after you mix everything in, should be quite hell to stop. I hope you guys do enjoy this, and if you guys want any more tips, strategies, guides, don't forget to head over to maddenturf.com and check us out. All right, I'm out. Peace.